Welcome back to the most professional StarCraft 2 with our first finalist, the former world champion Terran in the blue. It's Micro Jackson, ByuN, facing off against the player who can't keep his probes to himself, the rank 1 Protoss in the world, the smiling assassin in the red. We have hero in a best of 5 Terran versus Protoss Grand Finals. Two cranky ducklings sparkling Tuna Cup. And before we get started, it'd be incredible if you could smash that like button or maybe even subscribe. Help me count the algorithm. And Jimmy, what? 1,876 likes on this video, on this cast. And I'll cast another one. And I'll probably do it anyways, because I don't know what else I'd do with my life. But thank you for watching. Hopefully, you've had a good day so far. And hopefully it's about to get just a little bit better than approximately half of the entire mineral line, as hero clearly sent a probe out in the opening moments of the game. He took 1/8 of his economy. Yeah, we start with 8 workers now. And decided to mildly to moderately inconvenience the majority of the mineral line. And ByuN has not deemed it necessary to repair any of those SCVs, though eventually the probe was taken out by the fact that he went for a Marine first, as opposed to a Reaper. So, he was going to get away with it, too. Right up until the Marine popped out. But the lack of Reaper means that hero can keep the pressure on. A robotics facility is on the way. So, Warp Gate is now, something hero's building. Though not the very first thing anymore. With Warp Gate requiring you to invest 25 minerals and 25 gas in every single gateway you want to switch into a Warp Gate, it is less of a must-have and more of a, I kind of want this. Especially considering when the Warp Gate upgrade completes, you build units out of gateways 40% faster. But of course, you have to get your cardio in and just walk across the map or do whatever it is all these Protoss do. A Warp Prism first. This is not a defensive robo. Hero, I'm not sure he has a defensive anything. But, a Warp Prism first with an Adept constantly throwing shade and ByuN just having to eventually potentially chase it down. Though I seriously doubt. Well, he's going to trade some of the shields for the HP of the Marines. There is a Widow Mine. There is no Oracle. So, ByuN is suspicious of an Oracle, of a Stargate build, which hero has been known to mix in. And without the Reaper early on, you don't have any sort of scouting on the other side. All he's seen are Adepts and the shade they throw. And Adepts are usually kind of a prequel to a Stargate because they cost significantly less gas than Stalkers or Sentries. But you know what doesn't cost gas? A Warp Prism, as he just juggles it into the main. An SCV will be murdered. And remember those SCVs that the probe softened up? Oh no, the Widow Mine actually knocks the Warp Prism out of the sky. So, not exactly ideal. An inauspicious start, though he is going to get a significant amount of kills. Recalls the Adepts out. So, hero, starting things off early, loses his first Warp Prism to the first Widow Mine, because of course he does. Looks like the Scouting Immortal? He's just rallying Immortal. Okay, so there's a medevac drop on the way across the map. The Widow Mine is still... Wait, did it get taken out? He took out the Widow Mine and 4 SCVs. Now there's 2 Sentries, 2 Adepts, a single Immortal, as we reach our diversity quota of Protoss units here in the early game. Warp Gate is done. He's just pumping units out of the gateways rather quickly. There's a single shield battery in the main that could certainly help out. There's an empty bunker, which is certainly not going to intimidate hero either. Meanwhile, targeting the probes, just burning through the shield battery, trying to pick up some of the Marines, but many of them get caught. Blasts his way through the bunker. And behind it, a single Cyclone will help out a lot. Guardian Shield doing a lot here as well. Gets a tap on the Cyclone. Force Field, but he just opens the door off to the side because obviously you could do that. Hero loses 6 probes and plummets to a 2-worker lead as he's able to trade 3 more SCVs out as well. So the Adept gonna sniff around at the depots with its ethereal nose and try to keep tabs. I believe he saw the siege tank now on the low ground. But there's yet another... Wait, he has 3 Immortals. Yet another Warp Prism in production. It flies right past the medevac. The medevac flies right in. Now Warp Gates are opened up. so he can warp in. And no matter where you warp in, it's 4 seconds. Now, he just blasted his way through. The bunker is rebuilt. Retargeting. ByuN pulls the boys yet again. Terrible, terrible damage being dealt to both sides. And hero, unwilling to wait for the prism, will take damage on pretty much all of his units, losing many of the more vulnerable ones. Medevac is taken out of the sky. The shield battery's completely out of energy. Does he have a recharge? Absolutely not. Meanwhile, the Immortals in the main base, the Viking trying to make the second Warp Prism's life even shorter than the first one. Immortal not living up to its name. Another Immortal is just languishing in the mineral line. Does have 6 kills. These Marines are not yet dead. 2 Zealots warped in. Cuts down a couple more. Targets some of the probes. The Immortal will finally be taken out. 8 probes dead. 6 SCVs. And now... peace. And no, wait! The Warp Prism lived! We're not done! He's coming back for more. The Cyclone could lock on. Siege Tank in the main. Targeting Stim. It will be denied. Though he's playing with fire. Wait, did he kill the Viking? He killed the Viking, I think, on the ground or chasing the Prism. In the midst of all of it, hero prioritizing the biggest threat to his units, and there's nothing to stop him from just dropping the base right on top of the Siege Tank. And Immortal and Warp Prism itself with like 30 HP between them. Charge just begun. Another empty bunker at the front. Finally fills it with something. That Warp Prism is at 12 HP, but it has its shields, and ghosts are not going to be a threat for a long time yet. Stim restarts. Immortal uses the barrier to absorb some more shots, and now finally ByuN doesn't have any real opportunity to do counter damage. So hero has been able to expand to a third, and a shrine to his soon returning friend Dark is on the way. Dark Templar, of course. This game hasn't been cheesy enough so far. He's going to add another cheese combo right on top and try to keep ByuN off guard. The trusty Dark Shrine. He's building out of gateways and using warp gates, which is the sort of psychopath move that we can expect from hero, as he doesn't want to pay the warp tax on the extra ones. The first player I've seen actually do that so far. Locks onto the Prism. Cyclone chasing. Gets the shot, but not quite. What a save! But the Cyclone targets the Prism. What a play! No! Roll that back, Jimmy. Edit it out. It was not saved. ByuN instead. Micro Jackson just moonwalks his Cyclone into the medevac, pops the Prism out of the sky, and goes right back home. So, slurps up another medevac full of Marines and a single Marauder. And, well, after 9 minutes, hero does have that third base. He's got 55 probes. But ByuN is finally closing in on the quadruple threat. He's got Stim, Combat Shield. 1-1 is on the way. And there's no splash damage anywhere close to being available right now. For hero. The sentry, is he going to do it again? It's raining men. Hallelujah. He pops the sentry like a fancy snow globe that he left out for too long. Because I guess snow globes ferment or something. Can I get a Warp Prism number 3? Come on down. Gonna warp in some Dark Templar, I assume. The Dark Shrine was spotted. Missile turrets on the way to provide that extra detection. He does not have DT Blink. Dropping some supply, using that valuable energy to do so, but 1-1 is about to complete. Hero just finished his forge. The charge lots are just kind of chilling out front. Scan knocks out the observer. There's another observer in the main. The Prism coming in. The DTs, but the missile turret will provide detection. DT just goes off to the corner. Outflanked by a missile turret again. I don't think he realizes that his Dark Shrine, which is out of the corner of his base, was scouted by the medevac. But he slurps up the DTs. Only 2 kills thus far, trying to get a third. And he actually gets the DTs out and evades persecution with that Warp Prism for now. But there are 2 Vikings on the way. ByuN is up 20 supply, as hero hasn't done a lot of damage for quite a while. The Cyclone comes back, but the Prism is able to recall out. An Archon will merge. The rare Dark Templar Archon. All Templar can merge into Archons, all right? Whether High Templar or Dark Templar or a mix of both. After the Brood War, of course, the Protoss had to look to alternate, more progressive policies, I'll put it that way. Not to bring Protoss politics into it, but I don't know if there's any amount that's going to be enough to deal with the Terrans, though. A bunch of dudes with drugs and guns are still a reliable and lore-accurate strategy. The DT's just been sitting in the corners now working on the engineering bay. It stepped into missile turret range. Some charts like, did he lose another prism? 2 prisms dead. That means that 3rd prism is still alive. Got out of the way. There's still the medevac in the back corner, where the vast majority of herO's army is pinned back, trying to figure out a way to deal with it. Maybe if they stack the zealots high enough, they can just jump off the edge and chase it down like it's a carbot animation. And I certainly wish. But wishes do not make victories. Drugs and guns do. And right now, ByuN has 1-1 with 2-2 on the way. There's 5-6 Widow Mines right down the center. And the charge lots could be obliterated before they even get close. hero, he does have a Colossus Den completed. A second robotics facility. Warps in. The medevac. I don't know if they'll select an army hotkey. There's no blink. Oh, no. ByuN just kind of wades through with the medevac. And here, drop it out again. Deals with the probe. Gonna deny another base. He doesn't know about the bottom right corner, though. And what he doesn't know can certainly hurt him. Of course, the same goes for hero. The map is dark and full of Terran. And now ByuN very much knows. He scanned the bottom right corner. 20 probes there. Scanning for the army itself. Is recall available? If he had the energy, yes. But the army spot... hero is just gonna bait... Oh, no. Oh, he's ready. Oh, it's a disaster. The minefield! Oh, the zealots. Like, half HP and absolutely no shields on the survivors, which there weren't nearly enough. But ByuN actually comes back to defend. A recall... hero loses a devastating amount. 29 zealots for 2 marines and 5 widow mines, as well as a single marauder. ByuN actually killed about as many of his own units with widow mines as hero did with any of his own, which was a terrible sentence, but so was it was a terrible engagement as well. So I'm not here to judge, but fleet beacon, nope. Fusion core is on the way. It's just one of those games. Fusion core is on the way. hero's down 60 supply. As it appears, he's pulled himself in every direction, and so far, that means he's getting nowhere fast. Another 12 probes dead. EMP on the zealots and the probes. ByuN doesn't even have the upgrade advantage he's been working on. The immortals trundling down. This one surviving from many minutes early. It's only been 14 minutes. Feels like this game's been going on for like 25. But ByuN will finally be our first player to max out. And he has an upgrade advantage, 2-1. 2-2 versus 2-1. But the disruptors, he fires a shot, make that 2. And, well, be underwhelming. And now just tearing through everything, fires another one, dodges away, clips a single unlucky marauder. There's still the medevacs in the corner. Another disruptor, but the danger ball. He dodges, ducks, dips, dives, and dodges. Goes straight up the ramp, depowers the gateways, depowers the nexus from living. A hallucinated Colossus disruptor shot is caught on the gateways. His hallucinated Colossus is attacking the rocks. And that's somehow a metaphor for this entire game. The drop came out off to the right side. That Cyclone with 13 kills will finally die to the Immortals. Drops in the main base. Disruptors all over the place. And I think ByuN... well, another disruptor. The shield battery almost saves the day, but he puts it down just in time. Caduceus reactor on the way. hero, another shot. Another disruptor popped a little bit too early. And the desperation quickly turns into defeat. ByuN holds, well, not the line, as the line was erased, redrawn, and squiggled out at least several times. But ByuN survives to claim victory in game number 1, as I feel like hero may have dug too deep and too greedily with those, well, gestures at the entire build, actually. Yeah, there's no particular part of it, so every part of that build could have killed ByuN. But the cost of not doing so was greater and greater with each commitment. Between the multiple warp prisms, the Dark Templar, the Game 2. Hero, the fact that hero is sending out 1/8 of his economy. The follow-up, too. Like, ByuN was certainly scared. It actually ended up working out. They say there's no cow level. But what about sheep? So many critters on the... Well, there's so many farm animals on this map. And that's not even counting the mules that I'm certain we're going to get. ByuN is sending an SCV. What? Crouching probe, hidden pylon. Okay. Sure. herO's just gonna proc... Is this a max pack spit? Wait. Yes. Great minds think alike. But even greater minds think even more aliker. And subscribe. As the saying goes. Probe. And he even put the probe back and came in from the normal angle. But he'll find a severe lack of barracks in ByuN's base. But does he have the understanding to realize what's going on? Is there going to be a ByuNker rush? Or is this going to be more of a ByuNderdog story? It's be unbelievable. A zealot on the way. So, the issue here is a single Reaper could kill almost infinity probes. Of course, the probe softening up many of the SCVs is going to make it a lot easier for the zealot to get damage. This is going to be awkward. Well, this seems less than ideal. Bob, get back in here. I'm trying, Sarge. The SCV's on the run. The boys are pulled. The citizens arrest, trying to get this around the probe. Did it get a kill? No, it's at 1 HP, but gets the wraparound, looking for another hit. Slices through a second. Back to the wall here. He's going to get a third SCV, but the Reaper's in the main. Oh, he gets the catch with the probes, and the Reaper kills. What? And it's all over. herO wins the game with probes. ByuN lost the very first Reaper. And then, okay, well, we're all tied up just like that. herO with a single zealot and like 8 probes. All right. Yeah. herO giveth, and herO taketh away, and herO giveth and taketh again. Just moving on. Game 3. Thank you, Jimmy. herO with another very... I got nothing, all right? That was, of all the games I've ever seen, that was certainly one of them. ByuN had literally one job. And it was not lose the Reaper to probes. I guess there were some other jobs, like not lose too many SCVs to a Zealot, but the fact that ByuN couldn't catch a Zealot with SCVs, and herO could catch a Reaper with probes, that's pretty embarrassing. I'm just saying. Like, emotionally, I don't know how you recover from that. But that's not how we play this game. We played this game, apparently, by denying the tubes. This, of course, one of our tube-based maps, just like the internet, which is a series of tubes, as you know. You're on one of them right now. Tube. So, the tubes allow you to move workers along the potential scouting paths, because it is a 4-player map. herO scouts cross positions first. What the? He did. Okay. All right. Okay. So, this is like 20 IQ mind games here. ByuN denies the tube scout on one side. herO scouts cross positions first. and finds nothing at the ramp. Because who doesn't build a depot at the ramp? But then he's gonna scout the other bases. Because he never, like, he didn't go far enough to see the command. If he had gone a few pixels further. But now the probe is coming home. I don't know if a certain map position is disabled on this map, because sometimes on 4-player maps you have certain map positions disabled. I'm not 100% sure. But hero... Now, I'm not sure if he's capable of being confused. But... Okay. Now, I'm trying to think of a world where that's he's gonna scout... Okay, he's gonna see there's no base. And unless ByuN floated his first command center somewhere, which is not... There's no gold base or something. We're going to the hero cam here. I need to know what he thinks about all this. He's gonna realize that he didn't scout the whole base. The probe comes back, and he can't take the... I think he may have clicked on ByuN's base, but ByuN already has a supply depot denying the tubes, and he's blocking the other tube. But unfortunately, he's not blocking his main ramp, which, feels like a pretty dramatic oversight here. He's gone command center first in the main base, hidden everything he possibly could, but then the adept is just gonna find him. Realizing he got a little bamboozled, and here we go again! There's no units! One Marine does not count, alright? That's just sad. Meanwhile, hero, the shade... Wait, what? He shaded all the way out, which was possibly unnecessary. Now, ByuN is sending an SCV in the tube. This is another typical hero versus ByuN series, where the builds are made up and the strategies just don't matter. Kills the Marine, and now the shade away makes sense. A Dark Shrine, of course! Why wouldn't there be a Dark Shrine on the way? Now, it's very important to note you can only send workers through the tubes. There's also a Stalker here. Just gonna... What the... Okay, the boy is pulled again. He saw the second command center, but hero already has... Now, the SCV may scout the... Wait, where is the Dark Shrine? It's at the natural, of course. Why wouldn't it be? But there's still a chance the SCV scouts all of this just fine. And this is ByuN's first scout along the tube here. Yeah, SCV's just gonna get in, take a look around. Get pretty much a full scout. And, is he just gonna see the Dark Shrine with the... Well, you boys seen this back home? Yep. Yep, keep it going. Well, here we go. So the Dark Shrine, he canceled the Dark Shrine and started Blink. After the SCV scouted, the Stalker stalked it down. A Raven is on the way. ByuN transferring some workers. Oh my. I'm gonna need a lobotomy or like an IQ test after this. Maybe both. As these two mentally and physically dancing around each other like it's a middle school get-together. Get-together? Dance. But I already used the word dance. So anyways, he just walks up, takes out the medevac, force fields in the Cyclone, just kills it. Now the Marines take out several of the Stalkers. The boys have to be pulled, and hero's already up by 7 workers. The force field, we got the new animation that shows when the force field's half done. That's tied to the corrosive bile now, not insta-killing force field. But anyways, siege tank blasts one of the Stalkers, politely yet firmly asks it to leave, and the Stalkers will oblige for now. Can you blink? I think you could blink over to there. Could blink. There's a pretty big natural here, which who doesn't love big naturals? But hero. He's looking to intercept the Raven as it's potentially sent out. I wonder at this point if ByuN has realized that hero either canceled the Dark Shrine or is not bothering to use it. I wouldn't be surprised if we see another Dark Shrine at some point, because it seems like hero is going to add some macaroni to his cheese here. With a third Nexus already complete. He's up by 12 workers. The Robo Bay is already completed. And we'll see if his extended thermal lance will be able to catch up to mine. So, oh yeah, there's small tubes as well for the whole family. That go between the third bases, just in case you needed. Well, that actually helps for expanding, fun fact. If you ever decide to go, because it's kind of awkward to expand past the first 4 bases. Not that I... Well, the Raven. Doing some Neo-Tokyo drifting over here. Meanwhile, ByuN trying to return Snap back to reality and have a more coherent build. We've got the Stim combat shield on the way. +1 infantry weapons is already completed. And armor following it up. But now hero's adding on the extended thermal lance. The +1 ground weapons, as well as charge. So, the Raven building up the energy. Hero with a solid economy. And I think his plan is going to come together before ByuN has the opportunity. Unless he loses all his stalkers, which would be not great. Hero right now has 8 stalkers, a single Colossus, a sentry. Thing is, ByuN can't reliably move out. Through all the fire and fury, it's been very hard to tell. Triple auto turret drop. Just shift-clicking onto the probes. He gets 3 of them, which is certainly not worth losing the Raven. A pylon's taken out. Siege tank on the high ground. Still has blink on those stalkers as he tries to poke down some of the marauders. Now that observer is sieged up, which means it's revealed, but it also has the highest vision of anything in the game. Meanwhile, he's just ByuN, all worked up with nowhere to go. Hurry up and wait in these medevacs. There's a Ghost Academy on the way. He's already building Vikings. ByuN starting to batten down the hatches. Hallucinated Warp Prism. Yeah, he doesn't believe him. That was too obvious. The Vikings knock it out. And now, but here's the real play. A real-life Warp Prism now. That first one was halluc. ByuN wasn't lost, but the second, well, could be more dangerous. The double drop finally made its way out after a customs inspection or something. Now, Guardian Shield. Widowmine eats the hit, takes it on the chin of a brave zealot. Meanwhile, the Spylon, the drop is awkwardly placed. There's enough energy for recall. Does he go forward, or does he recall? But he recalls an awkward amount underneath the scan. There's not really enough... Wait, what? He just fly through a building? I don't... Okay, well, ByuN has the supply lead. Does he have an armory? No, which means 2-2 upgrades are a long way off for ByuN. They're already halfway done for Hero. +2 ground weapons closing in. Just started +2 armor, but he's going to have a significant advantage. And now Proxy pylons are way stronger, as you can warp in at full speed at any pylon. You don't need a nexus, a gate, any sort of fancy warp conduit, as it was called. All right, pylons are at full power yet again, and pylons are the powerhouse of the Protoss. Everybody knows that. Single sentry. EMP misses the mark. Guardian Shield going to be incredibly helpful here. Reduces all range damage to units within the shield, no matter where the range damage is coming from, by 2. And you know what Terran has a lot of? Literally all of it? Range damage. Besides the ability damage of the Widowmines and EMP. But besides that, it's a huge help against every single unit, but especially Marines, which otherwise are the highest DPS. 2 more Robos on the way. The Brobos are being called in. The older sibling has already been pumping out disruptors for a while. Already mixed in underneath the Colossi. The danger balls underneath those tall legs hanging low. And zones out with 1 disruptor shot. The Vikings blinks forward to try to pick off 1 or 2. Meanwhile, a just smattering of gateway units. He does have the warp gates opened up. A factory and an observer go their separate ways. Scan right over the top. He's looking for observers, but he's not finding. So, what? Would that double drop die? I think, no? Maybe? Only one medevac has died. I think maybe he got the other one home, but... We've got a fusion core on the way. But still a long way. Ooh, disruptor shot on the chin. But the Vikings are mostly uncontested. Knocked down one Colossus. The gateway unit is scattered throughout. Fadeaway shot on the Ruptor. The pylons just everywhere here, and each of them is an existential threat. There's way too much bio out there for hero to deal with as he cuts off some of the Stalkers. He's off to the left side. Widowmine soften things up. Stalkers blink forward, but the concave is good. Disruptor shot. Gonna force everyone to go their separate ways for a moment. As, ByuN in a precarious position, but he is maxed out. Hero now has 2-2 upgrades, giving him a full 2 upgrade advantage, and the disruptors are knocking on the door in the most rude fashion possible. Murder! But he somehow splits and takes absolutely no damage. Another shot. The Colossi have been toppled. The Vikings could actually help out on the ground, but the Warp Prism is in the main. A second Viking, but the Charge Lot's warping in at full speed, gonna eviscerate some of those Marauders. The main army on the ground, more Zealots will die. Ghost dying as dramatically as ever. Meanwhile, the Widowmine's softening up the Zealots. The Vikings trying to help out. Charge Lot's in the corner. Vikings hit the deck. Stalkers retreat. ByuN survives for now, but he's slicing through the starport. No, he actually needs to repair that. You cannot lose the starport. The disruptor shot right down the center. It's just catching strays, and suddenly this fight goes from a decisive victory to a total rout. He lost several ghosts and a bunch of Marauders and Marines. I think they're already softened up from too many stims, and hero, somehow he's dead even on supply, yet he's full of aggression. How is he just rampaging throughout the base? The violence of action is translating into a winning position, as ByuN is down to 117 supply. He's finally catching up in upgrades. But his economy is still pretty good. He actually barely lost any SCVs, which is a minor miracle here. And then he just taps out, because it's not going to get any easier. Hero, by the way, had not 1, not 2, but 3 more bases, and was warping in 5 more gates in the bottom right corner, which I don't know if ByuN knew about it, and I don't think it mattered, because in the end, Hero, with that single disruptor, he just blew the game wide open. And he takes match point. What a disaster piece. ByuN, the Warp Prism, just such a threat. Hero, it appears the demise of Protoss may have been greatly exaggerated. But of course, Hero has always defied and recalibrated expectations. We'll see. Game number 4. Eternity's Edge. No probes, no SCVs sent out. The last macro game was followed up by a double cheese. Where you going, Lester? I'm scouting, Sarge. I don't... That's what the kids are calling it nowadays. I don't know. Alright. Taps on the watchtower. The SCV taking a curious pathing. It does seem like a proxy Rex is on the agenda. Could be an NG Bay block, but... There we are. ByuN. Not a particularly... Didn't cut SCVs for this. There are some builds now that... you go like 10-10 in order to get the quickest possible Reaper. But that really does cut into your economy. But here... So, the normal scout pathing, I'm almost certain, is directly... Hero hasn't even probed... I don't understand. I don't know. It might just be the Magic 8-ball or the Luigi board that he consults before each game. It's like... I'm gonna harass with my first probe at the beginning of the game. I'm not gonna scout at all. There has to be some middle ground. Unfortunately for Hero, that middle ground has a barracks in it. Though, I guess if you don't scout, this is less effective. Because the element of... Is he gonna see it? He's looking for something exactly like this. But he's not going to see exactly this. It's a Proxy Marauder play. Looks like he's sticking around for maybe a follow-up. Concussive Shell Marauders are absolutely deadly. Walls off a potential Reaper jump, but that means his second pylon is not going to be in position for a well-placed shield battery. And by the time he might be thinking about it, he canceled the Zealot at the last second. You get all your money back if you cancel it before it's actually completed. So, because ByuN didn't go for the block or anything like that, he just canceled the Zealot, which means he doesn't have a Zealot to deal with this. Which, yes, that's basic math, I know, but just like basic math says you should add +1 likes and subscribes, but I'm just crunching the numbers here. Well, two Marauders with concussive shells. The ByuNker. And there's a single Stalker. He's trying to cut it off. ByuN knows because he took a shot from the high ground. The probes are pulled. A second Stalker. And if the bunker doesn't finish this, well, he's going to lose some probes. The bunker will be dealt with. And that's a free pylon. Oh, that's a bit of a probe. Wait, he's at 26 out of 50 supply? 2 pylons and 2 Nexi is 50 supply? That math seems wrong, but... Oh, he has another one in the corner. The Stalker is trying to duel. But the bunker actually eating some hits. And a single concussive shell could break the very weak, spindly knees of those Stalkers and allow the Marauders to just straight up catch it. He's pulling some probes. He recharged the sentry. Guardian Shield to help out. Change the equation. Another SCV pulled. Again, the workers are caught. hero trying to fight. The probe's going to get on the action. Another Marauder comes up. And hero's running out of units fast. The probes are not going to be enough this time. Marauder's significantly harder prey than a Reaper. And hero has literally no units. A Stalker about to pop out. The bunker will complete on the second attempt. The Nexus will be taken down. And hero, I think that commitment may have been too much. And now, ByuN taking full advantage. GG! We're all tied up, as ByuN's cheese this time is the sharper one. Well, hero didn't cheese it. Hero didn't scout at all, which kind of worked in his favor right up until it very much didn't. Well, if he had scouted with a probe, he could have had a pylon in a much more helpful location. Waddling off a Reaper is not very helpful if they don't have Reapers, but instead Marauders pounding through your Nexus. I know, these things seem obvious, and they are. I just need to pretend like I'm here for a reason instead of just admiring these two's strategic diversity, I think is what we're calling it now. Well, as we've been so many times before, and I hope we will be so many times again, all tied up. Game number 5 of this sparkling Tuna Cup. I don't know why it's named that, but I love it. Cranky Ducklings, one of the biggest community organizations. You really should support them if you have the means and motivation. They put on so many smaller tournaments for kind of the underserved portions of StarCraft 2. Though, obviously, here, hero and ByuN are not exactly rare sights in many online tournaments. But they also do a lot of regional tournaments and ones that otherwise probably wouldn't have any. So I really appreciate Cranky Ducklings and their efforts. And, of course, sending me some of the best games. Well, we're on Old Sun Temple. Another 4-player map. No tubes with which to manipulate either the mind games or the actual games. But I know for a fact vertical spawns are disabled. And the players know that, of course. At the start of the game, you can see the potential spawn locations. So that means it's either cross positions or close by horizontal. But in general, these 4-player maps just have so much space to work with. I mean, by definition. And we've gone several seasons without a single one, and now we have 3 in the map pool, I believe. Yeah. So it's just a different mindset the opportunities for early hero, where are you going? He knows this isn't a base. I'm like 82% sure. So he doesn't know where ByuN is. He's hedging his bets here. This is not a location that should ever be scouted. And ByuN is just not scouting at all, so I guess that is accurate. The Marine is headed out, but I think he's mostly here to zone out a probe. Is he actually going to look for this? What? What he does? That's a start. Ah, that probe is so... Where did that probe come from? That was a weird probe. I mean, is there a non-weird probe? Really depends on your definition. That's a conversation for another day. But today, hero with a proxy Stargate, and it could literally be anything out of that. Void Ray, Oracle, or Phoenix. None of them would surprise me. I think the most surprising would be Phoenix. But yeah, that probe, like, you gotta get some weird vibes off that probe. If the probe's not over there laser tonguing your SCVs in the back, then why is it out there? And softening up any amount of these Marines allows the Oracles to kill them. Yeah, and the probe coming in for blood, and it gets a kill. Surprisingly, and he gets into the main, and every SCV damaged is a shot less on the Oracle to kill it. Same with the Marines, same HP, same calculation. So the Adept's just throwing mad shade right now. And hero... Oh no, he left the door! Oh no, did he just win the game? Oh. Well, it's looking more one-sided. He just won the game, I think. Well, the SCVs, it's not... no, it's really bad. Like, the Oracle has enough... Nope. It's running dry. But there's more Oracles on the way. He's just staring at them menacingly. ByuN, I mean, it's game 5, so you can't just leave. The engineering bay will complete. He really needs to close the door. Because this, yeah. There's not enough Marines. The turret is on the way. Hero, burninating across the mineral line. There's the Adept is down there. I don't know if Hero forgot about it, but... And the third Oracle for this deplorable cheese. Will we go all the way to 4 Oracles? This has the 2 for now, softening up some of the Marines. There's the missile turret in the main, but ByuN... Well, the thing is that missile turret is not well placed. He can hit about half the mineral line untouched here. And maybe some light touching on the rest. The Marines are badly bruised. Hits 1. Hits 2. Gonna take some serious damage on the way out, but the missile turret doesn't quite cover. Hero's about to complete his second Nexus. A Robo is on the way. How do you follow this up? I want to see Colossus drop. Okay. Give me what I want. What I really, really want. These missile turret placements are... Oh my. Robo Bay is on the way as hero. Sprinting up the deck tree yet again. Oh my. You magnificent son of a bitch. I don't know. And it kind of makes sense, because what do you do? He knows that ByuN is limited to barracks. He's only going to have Marines, and why would you ever build Marauders right now? So, is this just for Speed Prism? He's building an Immortal. I guess the Robobay takes a little while to complete, but he would have gotten a Prism, I think, if... A lot of those SCVs, feeling less than comfortable with the situation, but they're not paid to be comfortable. You guys are getting paid? I don't... You get paid in biscuits, Lester. I don't... All right. Corporate. Why a Robobay? Colossus? Yeah. By the time ByuN even thinks about moving out, okay, maybe not by the time he thinks about it, by the time he can get across the map, the Colossus will already be complete. Extended Thermal Lance will be completed for multiple people here. And now, oh, it's a disaster. The Oracles, with an EMP and a strong gust of wind, would take him out easily. Stasis! Taken out, but Revelation, yep, those are Marines. Still important to kind of keep tabs on things, but hero. The only thing I'm disappointed by is that it's not a Colossus drop. Instead, it's just Colossi on the as part of the army, which is probably safer because a single Viking would counter his entire build otherwise. As if you go from Oracle into Colossus drop, then you have literally nothing to deal with Vikings. So you can build a Voider. The Marine,
Research.
It's in the most obvious location, but I don't know if he's going to find it. He's moving out with the smorgasbord again. The Oracles, he's just flying around like he owns the place. Bit of a stim. The medevacs are about to pop out, but the Colossus is on his doorstep. There's enough energy to force field that bunker. Though, this is actually maybe the worst possible timing for hero to attack. Right before extended Thermal Lance. Into 1-1 with combat shield. Is he's baiting him into the stasis, and he walked right into it. Oh, it's a trap. It worked perfectly. Maybe too perfectly. He caught so much of the army that he kind of just has to deal with it now. So we chain the stasis together. He's got a retreat there, and he's trying to time out. Well, I think it's enough. The supplies are actually very close, but hero's burning through the door right now. The Colossi getting... The missile turret is the greatest threat. There are 2 Vikings about to complete, but he's incinerating multiple SCVs. Widowmines will burrow. Colossus, Revelation for detection. Why not? Making it that much easier. And the SCVs not getting the hazard pay they deserve. Finally, some Vikings come out, but the Stalkers are out in front. He doesn't have Blink, but does he really need it? ByuN trying to stim his way out of this situation. But I think he's just stimming into the unit's lost tab. G! Hero with the meandering cheese. Goes all the way from the Proxy Stargate all the way to Colossi. And he does it before ByuN can ever get out of his base. Hero takes the series 3 games to 2. Bringing us to our anti-spoiler bonus games with a little bit more hero TVP against the slightly less accomplished but potentially more vulnerable Terran. Which, you know, maybe a bit of a spoiler in and of itself, but these matches were played slightly before the finals. I think they were semifinals. But hero, the probe, on the way across the map, because of course it is. This is what we're doing now, by the way. Just proxy gate every other game. This proxy Stargate. I think proxy Stargate still counts as proxy gate if you want to be pedantic, which if you're in the comments after you like and subscribe, well, that's kind of what they're there for. But Percival scouting. I think this is an engineering bay block timing. The probe is going to come in at, and he's angling the probe so it doesn't look too weird. Though, I don't think he sold it perfectly. Percival wants to engineering bay block, but Hero has already put a gateway on the other side of the map. So, Percival will be committing to blocking a build which has no intention of existing. Though, there is a scenario where if Hero doesn't get the damage done and he can't expand, Percival actually does come out ahead. But that SCV is not scouting up the ramp, which means, almost gets a kill, forces the SCV to repair. Hero's probes are a menace. Lethal. Somehow has not taken a single point of damage. Meanwhile, the SCV is pre-blocking the second base. Percival is thinking maybe a little bit too far ahead. As starting to realize, wait a second. Is he though? A Reaper's on the way. hero seems to be waiting for multiple zealots. As Percival, he's finally going to go up the ramp. That probe barely getting stripped of shields. He's coming back in he's going for the kill! Ah, it's so close. But, and now the Reaper is scouring. The Zealot's gonna be walking up the right. He needs a wall! It's already too late! Another depot! But he can just cut right through it! The grenade, it does nothing, pushes him up against it. And then he just gives up on the idea of getting in. Well, here we go. The bunker is done, but he needs to get his units into it, which there's a stalker here, so that's going to be incredibly hard to do. The Zealot's just slicing through. Now the engineering bay block is actually kind of kicking in. Just a bit. The stalker just ransacking the place. Percival back to the 12 worker start now, which is not ideal. Another one picked off. The mule also on the chase out of solidarity. Marine chased. And another stalker walking up. The Marines are out of the bunker, where they're much more vulnerable, obviously. They get back into it. hero gonna take his third. Minimap looking, just very, very standard for a hero game. Where 4 or 5 bases have buildings in them, and only 2 of them are the ones that you might expect. The Reaper coming across. Percival! Well, he's not dead. I can say that much. Though the Reaper might be a bit of foreshadowing here. He gets one probe. He did spot the alternative expansion from hero. And he does get away with the Reaper. So these are all things that desperately needed to happen for Percival to continue to be in this game and it making any sense. Now, ideally, he picks off a stalker or 2 and manages to take his expansion without hero making his life any more difficult. But the warp gate opens up. A cyclone is on the way. Probes being transferred. Stalker spots the Reaper. More stalkers. Oh no, they're closing in. And he gets put down. And that means hero can focus all of his efforts on the other side of the map. He's got a 10-worker lead, and he's got a sentry to potentially force field the bottom of the ramp. The starport just finished. And the Cyclone. Oh, no, no, it's a trap! Oh! He could have... If that Cyclone gets caught, hero just wins the game right there. And there's still the opportunity. He's using the shade for high ground vision. Though he actually completes the shade, then he just hallucinates a Colossus because the Adept went off into Narnia. The Colossus giving high ground vision in a reliable fashion. The depots are dead, and now Percival is hard supply blocked. He can't build any more units, though hero's going to help him out with that. The tech lab is taken down, and the Colossus is not real, but that doesn't mean the units... the Cyclone just auto-targets. He saves it with the medevac. Just trying to kill the factory now. Manually locks on to one of the stalkers. And the scan gets a kill secure, which is quite a commitment. There's enough energy for a force field. But the sentry... Force field locks out some of the Marines, slurps them up. Big damage on the medevac. And hero... Well, there's a Banshee on the... He just shot his own stalker. Traitors in our midst. And he wasn't even close to supply much. He just, his 360 controller may have glitched out there. A bit too sweaty, possibly. The medevac coming out will be spotted. There's a Cyclone inside. And manages to evade the stalkers to some extent. Though, losing the medevac... He gets the observer. Percival hunted on all sides. Oh, this is the hero experience here. Knocks the medevac out, which means these units are now on their own. May kill one more Stalker, but wait! There's a save. But he's taking a lot of damage on the Prism. Does he have another scan? No. Stalker goes down. Will he sacrifice another Stalker on the altar of victory? There is the Widow Mine. He can dodge the shots with the Prism. Brings one forward. Prairie Dog Micro from the mine. Cyclone SCV's trying to push it right back into the fray. Retargeting the mine. Great retargeting here from Percival. Slurps up some of the Stalkers. hero getting obscenely fancy with this. And the War Prism, of course, it's a hero Prism, which means it will die as a martyr. A single Banshee, a badly bruised Cyclone, and a Siege Tank are the entirety of the defense. There's charge on the way. Hero doesn't care, though. The Banshee, of course, does not have Cloak. So he's taking his sweet time dealing with it. There's also a Raven. Cyclone still refuses to die. 9 kills and counting. It may live a little while longer. The SCVs, the Siege Tank. Honestly, that Cyclone is by far the real MVP. He needs to repair it desperately. The Banshee, and we're back up the ramp. The Zealot's just up. Charge is done, but the Cyclone racks up kill number 11. But wait, there's more. He doesn't stop coming, and he won't stop coming. Knocks the Banshee out. There goes the tank, and hero just chops his way through. He finishes what he started. Percival, cut down. You see the difference, like, Percival with the technical knowledge, but, well, I would say, like, ByuN clearly more accomplished, but ByuN also lost a game in 3 minutes because he lost a Reaper to Probes. So maybe I should keep my criticism a little more restrained here. As hero, off to a 1-0 lead. Percival, a very early SCV scout. The Probe was almost as early to scout, so it actually spotted the SCV. Is he going to go for the most obvious proxy racks of all time? What are you doing? He doesn't... You can't just... Well, okay. Off we go. The barracks. Now, a second probe has come out. Right now, a solid, like, nearly 20% of Hero's economy is out on the field looking for proxies and just generally harassing. So, hero, is he going to find it? The probe doesn't seem to have, well, maybe a sense of disturbance. As the probe continues to circle around the gas geyser, there's a severe lack of barracks in the base. But he's scoured close enough. Percival built this so far back that it's barely closer to Hero's base at all. I guess it'll cut 4 or 5 seconds off the Reaper, but the travel time, that is. CV escorting the probe away. The probe refuses to leave. A second SCV gonna try to hunt it down. He's trying to get enough shields so that way he can turn the corner, but he actually does it so sharply. And he just... And Percival waits that the SCV comes back, but wait! The probe who lived. He's not done! He's beating him so hard. Oh my... oh, come on, bro. Just infuriating. He's gonna come around, gonna get another couple love taps. And the probe is... Ladies and gentlemen, we got him! The probe finally dies! And a sigh of relief echoed throughout the Terran base. But a sigh of realization that 2 probes, including 1 killed by SCVs, the Stalker's already out. Like, he can't do anything about this Nexus. Hero's just gonna walk across the map with the Stalker. There's a second Reaper, and he could potentially catch it in the trees. So, bit of a disaster piece. The Reapers? Does he actually have vision? No. He gets into the main. There's no shield battery. Immediately pulls the probes. Knocks out 1 Reaper with a Stalker from the low ground. Percival tried, and he dodges into the assimilator. What a play. All right, Shakespeare. Loses it either way. You can only stay in there for so long. Regulations. It's bad for your health. Now, some might argue so is getting shot in the face by a Reaper, but that's not the same department. I don't know. Well, Percival has one Widowmine and a Dream, and that's carried many Terrans to greater heights in the past, especially considering the Widowmine was buffed to fire 20% quicker after it locks on. But, or the lock-on time is 20% less. It's not like the missile travels quicker, just to be clear. Meanwhile, a Robo is on the way. As hero, I want to point out that throughout all of these games, hero, I don't think has gone directly into Blink a single time, which was the default build in the previous patch, barely a month ago. But hero has managed to chart a new and exciting course down another branch of the tech tree every single game so far. The observer will spot the Widowmine drop, and we'll see the reaction time here. He burrows. I don't think you could do that. Oh, he had an observer. Okay. Because of the extra... Before, you could usually surround with probes and probably kill the Widowmine. I guess the burrow time is the same. But you're not getting away if you don't quite finish it off. And apparently that medevac also isn't getting away, because hero just intercepted it easily. Well, this is already kind of a mediocre situation for our aspiring Terran here. And the observer's gonna spot the Banshee. Oh my. A series of unfortunate events. Hero might just be able to intercept it again. Percival is microing, but there's no cloak. Oh, no. Oh. Well, this is just trickle-down death. Trickle-down mechanomics here, as hero just knocks down every single piece of the build so far. And he's lost only a handful of probes to do so. And most of those was with the Reaper, or SCVs. Hero, he might not go Blink, but he's going to do his best to still have it with the Prism for the Ghetto Blink. The lock-on, the scan, gets a lot of damage on the Prism. He's still within range. He's going to, of course, it's a hero Prism. It must die so that everyone else can live. And then, on the third base, it will be resurrected into the build. The Banshee does not have Cloak. Percival, why are you like this? Don't do it. Another volley will kill it. He keeps building Banshees like he's U-thermal. Some boys are pulled. We're doing this. All right, here we go. Get your pantaloons all pulled up to full, because things are about to get weird. Charge is on the way. Hero has 2 Immortals, 7 Stalkers. Now, the Banshee, the Pylon. Oh no, the Pylon depowers both batteries. The SCVs were not on auto repair. You had one job. Well, both sides with some clear vulnerabilities, but the Banshees are being driven back. Without the Siege Tank in position, an Unsiege Tank helping out, locks onto an Immortal. That's a huge deal, but unfortunately mitigated relatively quickly. The Observer's giving vision through the trees. The SCV's trying to get involved in one way or another. They're just gonna pat each other on the back with some repair. A lot of damage being done by the Banshees, and I think he has enough now that he can actually just straight up fight the Stalkers. A few Zealots try to get involved. Knocks down one of the Observers, but thankfully Hero had another one nearby through some usage of it. His only hotkey for his army is the one Observer, which tells quite a story, though he just switched it up. Meanwhile, honestly, I think that went pretty well for Percival, as he destroyed, knocking out the Artosis Pylon without the Tasteless Pylon to back it up. And now, as the third base was built, the new Warp Prism rose from the ashes like a phoenix, which is a unit that we don't really build in order to save the day. And he might actually need it. It'll certainly help. But here come triple Banshee. This time the battery's not going to be so easily depowered. Charge lots come in. Siege tank tries to help out. Guardian shield doing a huge amount here. Another Banshee. But, oh, that's way too much. Hero just stomps his way across. The charge lot's the tip of the spear, but he thrusts it through, and Percival will be eviscerated easily. Hero with a clean 2-0, despite the tumultuous builds on either side. And showing that maybe a bit of a different angle, a different take on Protoss versus Terran can still take you quite far. Hero with ByuN giving us exactly what I expected, which is exactly what I wanted. And hopefully it's exactly what made your day at least a little bit better. If you got the means and motivation, we also check out Patreon or YouTube membership, but I hear liking and subscribing is still free, at least for now. Thank you to our meal tier patrons, Big Jiggy, Devin Door, Kate, Crazy Mouse, Mario Suit, and make sure to check out Frankie Ducklings as well. And support some Community StarCraft 2. Jimmy put the link in the description for the last time. And also check out this video. Jimmy picked it out just for you. But thank you for watching. I hope to see you next time. Good luck, have fun. Stay chill.